Morning. A couple of weeks ago, a few of us from Dunvant and some other churches were in Hungary. I've still got some of the money and some of the gifts that they gave us last year, because obviously this year we were doing it virtually. And during that week we were looking at the first 6 chapters of Daniel and teaching them to the children in English. And I just want to look at the last chapter that we looked at on that week, Daniel chapter 6, which is Daniel and the Lion's Den. And I think that's one of the stories that we learn at a young age. But I have to remind myself when I read these stories that it's often the simplest stories in the Bible can have the most powerful truths. So in Daniel 6, Daniel's broken this new law. And this law says that for 30 days, everyone can only worship the king of Babylon. And Daniel, of course, prays to his God as he usually does. And so according to the Babylonians, Daniel must die. And he's thrown into the den of lions, which is, I think we can all agree, a helpless situation for any normal man. And we're told that a stone is rolled over the entrance. And where else do we see that in the Bible? And the entrance is sealed, that nothing might be changed concerning Daniel. All logic would say that Daniel is doomed. And the king leaves him overnight. And then it says, at the break of day, the stone was rolled away. Where else do we see that? And the king cries out to see if Daniel is still alive, which I think is quite an odd thing to do, but that's what he does. And Daniel replies, he says, "O king, live forever." Bearing in mind it's the king that just threw him in this den of lions. And he says, "My God sent his angel to shut the lions' mouths. They have not harmed me, because I was found blameless before him." And Daniel could stand in the lion's den, because a greater lion was with him. And so this story could almost be changed to the lion in the lion's den, because this has nothing to do with Daniel, but everything to do with his God. I think you'd agree with me if I say that we could spend our lives, or we do spend our lives, in what we could call the den. We're surrounded by sin and all that brings. And in 1 Peter chapter 5 is that well-known verse that likens the devil to a lion. But we must remember that there's a bigger lion. And this lion is for us and not against us. And that's most clearly shown, I think, in that this same lion that was with Daniel in the den became a lamb for us. And this lamb entered the den of God's wrath. Or to put it in the words of Galatians 3, Christ became a curse for us. And there's that quote from Charles Spurgeon again, "You stand before God as if you were Christ, because Christ stood before God as if he were you." Or you could change it to, "You stand in the den unharmed, because Christ stood in the den in your place." And there is no room for fear or anxiety or discouragement in the den that Jesus has overcome. But rather we're to look forward to the break of day, when the King will open the den that we're in and will free us from all of the darkness. And in Revelation chapter 5, verse 5 and 6, it says this, "And one of the elders said to me," this is John, "Weep no more. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, of the root of David, has conquered, so that he can open the scroll and its 7 seals. And between the throne and the 4 living creatures and among the elders, I saw a lamb, standing as though it had been slain. And the lion became a lamb for us, so that we could stand in the den and live."